Tonight on CTV, temperatures are dropping and snow is falling. See how students and professors are slipping onto campus.
Then see how one immigrant is changing the coffee game in the heart of Old Town Fort Collins.
All that and more on CTV starting right now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Kyra McKinley.
And I'm Gavin Wolf. Thank you for joining us on such a snowy night.
With Fort Collins seeing the coldest and snowiest day of the year so far, affecting students both on and off campus.
So Adam, how will this affect students going home for fall break tomorrow?
Well, Gavin, the snow is expecting to end at 9 tomorrow morning, and all day tomorrow these temperatures will be struggling to get above 20 degrees. Be sure to stick around because I will be going more in depth about how to prepare for such harsh weather later in the show. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Adam. One way students are staying warm is by packing into Moby Arena to support Ram athletics.
That's right, Kyra. The 3-0 Rams faced off against similarly undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks earlier today. Leah?
Thanks, Gavin and Kyra. And yeah, while Moby has been rocking the past 2 weeks, the men's squad had to finally hit the road to compete in the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. The three-part tournament had CSU facing South Carolina in the first round, which concluded just a couple of hours ago. So how did it turn out? Well, CSU absolutely annihilated the Gamecocks, winning 85-53. I don't know what got into Coach Medved's squad, but you can forget all about your doubts regarding this team. I mean, it wasn't even close. Rams forward James Moores balled out, going 10 for 12 from the field, including 2 threes. And may I remind you that this is a guy who didn't hit a single triple in the entirety of last year. Wow. As a group, the Rams hit 58% of their shots, which is mind-boggling. Their defense was stellar too. Other than freshman phenom Gregory Jackson III, no Gamecock reached double digits in scoring. None. Honestly, I'm still shocked by the result, but in a good way. Colorado State will be back at it tomorrow at 3 o'clock local time to face either Davidson or host Charleston. And right now, it's looking like Charleston might take it because they're currently up 54-47 with 12 minutes and 44 seconds left in the second half. This weekend might prove to be very special for the Rams basketball, and I'm excited to witness it all. And hey, they're not the only ones away this week. So stick around for more CSU sporting news with me later in the show. But for now, Kyra, back to you.
Thank you, Leah. Fort Collins will not be seeing a minimum wage increase anytime soon. After months of debating, the city decided to table the discussions and keep the city's minimum wage at the same as the state's. At $12.56 per hour, however, Fort Collins will be forced to change the minimum wage to $13.65 when 2023 rolls around, to follow state laws. Currently, the margin between minimum wage and living wage in Fort Collins is sitting at $5.83, a gap that is negatively impacting many Fort Collins residents. The city released a survey earlier in the year asking almost 900 working employees in Fort Collins their thoughts on the minimum wage. Almost 70% of survey recipients stated that they cannot respond to emergencies with their current income. The City Council hopes to revisit this conversation with more community engagement. And speaking of engagement, Gavin, what sides of the ballot got the most votes during last week's midterm elections?
Well, Kyra, election season has passed and Democrats can rest easy knowing that they remain in control of Larimer County, despite a massive victory from Republican Angela Myers. The Democrats now have control over positions such as District 1 Commissioner, County Assessor, and Coroner. The county's coroner position is now being held by a Democrat compared to recent years. However, Republican Angela Myers is serving another term as county clerk. Myers won with the largest victory margin for any county office this election, beating out Democratic candidate Tony Baker. Myers also won this achievement with the least amount of campaign money during this election season. Needless to say, Republicans and Democrats both have much to celebrate coming from this recent election cycle. And keeping with the legislative side of things, let's swing it back to Kyra, who has an update on what's new in the world of student government.
Thanks, Gavin. A new bill was presented to the ASCSU Senate last night, called the Grooming Transportation Act, that has generated a bunch of discussion.
On behalf of ASCSU, strive to provide a better environment for all the students out here, and the Groom Shuttle services is one of the best ways to do so over the winter break, especially with a lot of students traveling in and out of CSU. And one of the major goals of this project is to make sure that the international students and outer students who would be arriving to CSU over the spring, unlike over the spring, before the start of spring semester, to be able to utilize this code in a better way so that they could, have a best first experience while they come to CSU. So that is like one of the major goals for this project. And for this project, we are planning on allocating $7,000 from the executive cabinet, and then we are seeking $7,000 in addition to that from the Senate discretionary budget, as mentioned in the bill over here. So this is what it's all about.
This $14,000 bill cruised its way through the Senate and will now be presented to the Budgetary and University Affairs Committees. And with that, let's head back to Gavin for a look into an internship partnership from CSU PD. Gavin?
Yeah, Kyra, CSU PD has recently partnered with UC Health to add mental health support to campus officers. The Community Support Program is one of the first of its kind across the nation. Within the partnership, a behavioral health expert responds to calls alongside CSU PD when there may be mental health factors involved. Francesca Reinart, a behavioral health clinician, was recently hired and trained as a co-responder. She told Source, "My goal with this program is to be helpful through de-escalation, on-scene assessment, connection to resources, and appropriate follow-up. I hope this role will positively impact students, faculty, and staff, not only in the moment, but also down the road."
Colorado is known for legalized marijuana, but substance use in the state is about to get a whole lot groovier. Colorado has recently become the second state to legalize psychedelic mushrooms, following Oregon back in 2020. According to the FDA, the compounds found in these mushrooms are a breakthrough therapy treatment for major depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. The legalization will allow Colorado to build healing centers where residents can therapeutically consume mushrooms under supervision. Proposition 122 will decriminalize the use and growth for users 21 and older, but won't permit retail sale. And after all of that, Rams, it's time to take a break, but don't go away just yet.
One of my favorite snow activities is to find a coffee shop and curl up with a good book. One local coffee shop that I found will melt away the cold and your heart.
Since 2015, Harut Krusan has owned Konjo Ethiopian Coffee, located southeast of CSU. Here she roasts her own coffee beans and offers traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremonies.
They can see how we roast the coffee, how we boil the coffee traditionally, and allow people to have a conversation, bringing people together. I love the way that people actually respect and willing to share the culture, not only just to drink the coffee.
Harut learned the traditions of roasting coffee while growing up on a coffee farm in Ethiopia.
Growing up, I used to pick the coffee beans, the berries when it's ready. I used to carry a bag of coffee, help out my parents. So I think that's where the passion started. And I realized after I moved here, a lot of people spend a lot of money on coffee, but they don't even know where it comes from.
While sharing her traditional coffee with Colorado, Harut encourages others to share their culture.
Every person, every culture, every size, every shape, every color has a story to tell. We need to find a way to tell our story. culture or food, language, you have to be the one, the storyteller.
For providing your insight and uncovering such an incredible story here in the heart of Fort Collins. Now, let's get back to Kyra for a new trademark for the city of Fort Collins. Kyra, what do you have for us on that?
Well, Gavin, when you think of Fort Collins, you may think about those local coffee shops or our dynamic music scene, or, of course, Colorado State University. However, the city has a new trademark. Fort Collins is now a bird city because of actions that support aviation species and their habitats. The American Bird Conservancy presented the honor to the mayor, Jenny Ardent, earlier this week. The 3 city council polices that won the award include lack of light pollution, the city's bird count initiative, and the city's section 493 that mandates pet animals besides birds to be under restraint. Well, Rams, we are at the end of our newscast. And wow, that flew by really fast.
But don't go anywhere just yet. Our sports reporter, Leah Kukowski, is up next to give us everything we need to know about the upcoming football game against one of CSU's rivals.